Hey everyone, it's Trainer Nicola Pybus and we are back for round 2 of your macros. Right, so last week we worked out your carbs, your proteins and your fats down to the exact gram. Okay, you also got given this astronomical huge calorie amount that you're probably like, let's just focus on the macros. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, realistically, how many meals you want to be fitting in a day. Okay, for myself, it's between 5 and 6 meals. For someone just starting out, I would suggest your 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay? And if you're not having breakfast, you should start having breakfast. Okay? Because it is the most important meal of the day. Right, so let's base it on 3 meals a day. You're going to take that big carb gram number and you're going to divide it by 3. And you're going to come up with a little gram number, and that is the amount you're going to have in meal 1 and meal 2 and meal 3. Okay, because all together that's going to make up that total amount. Okay, and then your proteins, you're going to divide it by 3, and that's going to be the small amount that you're going to have for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, and you're going to do the same for fats. Okay. So overwhelmed right now. Well, thank goodness technology came to rescue, because there are apps out there that can do all of this for you, so you don't even have to use your brain. Okay, so I like to use my Macro Plus, okay, but there's also my MyFitnessPal, which is apparently also brilliant, and I'm sure lots of ladies already use MyFitnessPal, and all you have to do is you just clock in the amount that you need. So you put in 160 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbohydrates and 50 grams of fat. Say that is your number, and that's you put it in. The golden rule of this is that in order to really make this work, you need to play around a little bit. You need to have patience. And I would suggest that for the first week, just a week, log in, once you've got your app, log in what you normally eat. Just put it in, take 5 seconds. If you can sit on Facebook for 5 hours at work, you can take 5 seconds to log in. I had oats for breakfast. I had nothing. I had an apple. I had a piece of toast. You know, and they've got libraries of food, and it's got all the amounts worked out for you. So all you need to do is go, breakfast, I had this, boop, and it comes up with the amount. Lunch, I had this, boop, and it comes up with the amount. Just so you can see what's really going on and how many grams of everything that you're having. Because once you have that amount, you can actually see where you're going wrong. Okay? You can see where you're deficient in carbs, where you're deficient in proteins, where you're deficient in fats. And what you will find is that your sugar is through the roof. The first time I did this, I nearly died. I could have powered a ship with the amount of sneaky sugars that I was having in my diet. Like, I'm not a person that has sugar in my tea and sugar in my mouth. I don't eat loads of chocolates, but it was the sneaky sugars that are in everything that you'll actually see. So the golden number here is that if you are training and if you want to start to chisel away at your physique and actually see a real difference, I would stick between 25 and 30 grams of sugar. Okay, so now I have a normal kitchen scale, and I'm going to show you how much 25, let's go 30 grams of sugar is. Right, so that is 30 grams of sugar. Okay, just covers the bottom of the tray. So all your meals that you have should equate to that much sugar. Okay, easy enough? It really isn't. When you're using your app and you start to see actually how much sugar you have, I'll show you how much a normal person has that isn't tracking their macros. Oh yeah. There we go. So sometimes when you live normally and thoughtlessly, you end up having about 100 grams or more of sugar. Shall we bake a cake? Eek. Okay, so sugar is so important to track, because if you can keep your sugars low, and it includes fruit sugars, if you keep your sugars low, your physique will change. Now, because you've been given that amount, between 25 and 30 grams, you can still work in the things that you love. Okay, that's why I like if it fits your macros and micros, because I like to include sugars into macros even though they're not, but we'll just put them in anyway because you need to consider them. Okay, so now that you've got, say, 30 grams to work to, and you know you're going out for a lunch date with a friend, you can work in, then you just need to put in your cookie or your cake or whatever beforehand or whatever, and then you can work it out and you can make it fit in. Okay, because if you just stick to your macros and you don't consider your micros, you can get away with eating loads of junk food and non-nutritional food, and your sugars will clock up and your body is not going to change. Okay, so controlling that sugar is so important. Okay guys, let's get back to the point of how we can eat all the food and not explode out of our pants. It is through a simple process called reverse dieting. We're going to be turning dieting on its head, where instead of under-eating and over-exercising, you're going to be gradually firing up your metabolism again and rebooting it through gradually adding in food until you get to your magic macro numbers. Okay, so how do we do that? You're going to be adding in 150 calories in the macros that you are deficient in every 4 weeks until you reach your macro total. Once you are at that macro total, you are at maintenance level, and I would suggest staying at that maintenance level for at least a month or longer until you start cutting at your macros to start seeing a shift in your body. But until you get your maintenance macros, which is the number that we worked out, you shouldn't really start doing any hardcore training, because you're only going to really just stress out your body. You have to feed your body properly, you need to get it up to the maintenance macros, and then the magic can start happening and your bodies can start changing. Okay, so there is a whole lot of information that goes into macros, and it gets really intense and really scary sometimes. So I hope that I have done at least a little bit to try and make it as simple as possible. Remember, keep those sugars low, as low as you can, and then you will start to see magic happening and changing your body. Try get to those macros, reverse diet, especially if you have a history of eating disorders or restrictive eating, and magic will start to happen. Alright, so tune in next week where I'll be answering some more of your ladies' questions about health and fitness. Cheers guys!